koutou and welcome back to Political Tea for this week. It's me, Camryn, and we are living our best lives back on Political Tea this week. Lots going on, lots to talk about. Oh my goodness. Woof. Just sitting there looking at everything that is happening is just poof. Anyway, welcome back to Political Tea.
Right now, the average age of this 52nd Parliament is 49 years old. Okay, Boomer.
All of this is a real distraction from what a government should be focused on.
I think there's some 16 and 17-year-olds that are smarter than most of us, to be honest.
We know Crate Day's a great day, and under Act it would be a national holiday.
We're going to create youth offender military academies.
There's no better way to get fitter, faster, stronger, better, more well-connected criminals than by chucking them all together in an army camp.
Somehow it will become illegal to call someone a Karen. That is absolutely incorrect, and I apologise. That means these laws will not protect that member from such a claim.
I'm Camryn Charles and we're pouring the political tea. As always, what a great intro. Couldn't think of a better one myself. Genuinely couldn't. Couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Anyway. The political tea this week, whānau. It really is tea. For once, we actually have some good tea. I'm spilling it, I'm pouring it. Let's go. The tea pot. The tea is boiling. The tea is overboiled. We're spilling it. It's going. It's flooded. Don't know how to deal with it anymore. Time to spill the tea. Anyway, let's go. So, how do I even start this? Well, obviously we have had our new coalition sworn in with Prime Minister Christopher Luxon and Deputy Prime Minister David Seymour and the other Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters, who have decided to split their time. As we've got most of our cabinet portfolios assigned. As far as I'm aware, the ones that I can remember are Foreign Affairs has gone to Winnie, and Judith Collins has got like SIS or something, Secret Service, something like that. Either way, but obviously the biggest thing that's rolling at the moment is, the whole cigarette thing, the smoke-free legislation. And it's, certainly been taking up quite a bit of my page. I don't know what other people are thinking, but we'll read an article from RNZ and that might help open your eyes a little bit. I don't know. I'm losing it over here. I'm losing it. Brain melted. So, smoke-free law changes a completely backwards step. Health experts. And this was posted on the 25th of November from RNZ. The incoming finance minister has admitted that New Zealand's world-first smoke-free laws have been scrapped to fund tax cuts. National's coalition deal with New Zealand First, released yesterday, says it will repeal amendments to the Smoke-Free Environments and Regulated Products Act 1990 and regulations before March 2024. These changes would remove requirements for denicotinization and remove the reduction in retail outlets and the generation ban, while also amending vaping product requirements and taxing smoked products only. Under the coalition, National could no longer fund its promised tax cuts through a tax on foreign buyers and had to look elsewhere for revenue. Nicola Willis told TV3 News Hub Nation that New Zealand First and ACT were insistent that the smoke-free legislation be reversed. We have to remember that the changes to the smoke-free legislation had a significant impact on the government books and with about $1 billion there. I am really out of practice. Also, I burnt my tongue today, so that probably doesn't help. I'm like lisping a little bit. We're getting through it though. We're getting through it. A public health expert said legislation could have saved the health system $1.3 billion over 20 years. Health Coalition Aotearoa co-chair Professor Lisa Te Moringa said scrapping the legislation would cost thousands of lives with the worst impact on Maori. She said health professionals were shocked at the news. We'd believe that Shane Reti supported the Smokefree legislation, so to hear that they're going to repeal it is a gut punch. National said in a statement that remains committed to reducing smoking rates. National's health spokesperson Dr. Shane Reti said responsibility for implementing the new regulations are still to be determined. Reti said that the work will likely sit with Associate Health Minister Casey Costello. Te Moringa said the legislation could have saved the health system $1.3 billion. This is seen as world-leading legislation, and some of our closest friends are looking to emulate the work, so to repeal it seems a completely backward step. Te Moringa said the laws would have created a smoke-free generation who would never have to deal with the addiction or health loss caused by smoking. The new government has also vowed to reform the regulation of vaping, smokeless tobacco and oral nicotine products while banning disposable vaping products, considering requiring a liquor licence to sell vapes and increase penalties for illegal sales to those under 18. This has been a big step back. Let's be real. Big step back. Big. We spent so long trying to implement these new laws to kind of have a smoke-free generation, and so I think it's children born after 2008, so 2009 babies onward, could never buy smokes or cigarettes or tobacco products. And now just to send it all packing for tax cuts seems silly due to the fact that if you can't fund your tax cuts, why would you take away legislation that could actually save people and actually prevent a lot of strain on the healthcare system in the future? Understandably, smoking is a personal choice, but ultimately it's addiction doesn't just work like that, and surely it should be treated more as a support method. But then on top of that, I suppose I see what they're saying, it brings in a lot of revenue for New Zealand and a lot of money that comes at the risk and cost of people's health and livelihood. So what do I know? What do I know? Couldn't be me. But yeah, I don't know, I think that it's a big step back and I think that a lot of people view it as a big step back. That's just me. Teehee. We are just, yeah, okay. Now, anyway, tax law, this is another big one that's popped up, and I think we all saw it coming, but a lot of people are more like, really? Was this necessary? Why you gotta do this to me? For real. Landlord tax breaks will blow out by $1 billion CTU, and this comes from RNZ, and it was posted today at 10:30. The government's move to accelerate tax cuts for landlords means a blowout of about $1 billion more over 4 years, according to the Council of Trade Unions. It could also mean landlords collecting a cheque from the government with no benefit to renters. However, National says some of the details are yet to be considered by Cabinet and will not be made public until they are finalised. The National Act Coalition Agreement states that the government will restore mortgage interest deductibility for rental properties with a 60% deduction in 2023 and 24, 80% in 24, 25 and 100% in 25 and 26. CTU Policy Director Craig Rennie told RNZ this would mean an extra $3 billion over 4 years staying in landlords' pockets, which would be unavailable to help the government with an already tight budget. The negotiations with ACT, which had called for immediate full restoration, meant it was also a bigger shift and faster than the tax policy National campaigned on. The cost of returning interest rate deductibility rises from the $2.1 billion, which was proposed in National's back pocket boost before the election, and rises to $3 billion, so that's an increase of $900 million. He said behavioural change in response to the policy would likely mean the extra $900 million ballooning out to well over $1 billion extra. Rennie said the Act had confirmed the changes would take effect from 1st of April 2023, meaning the tax reduction would be backdated, a rebate for landlords while tenants would see no benefit. They will have paid the rent, which should include interest charges, but at the same time landlords will be able to claim the tax back, tax they have already paid on the other side. It's going to be Christmas for landlords fairly soon, but it's going to be austerity and cuts for everybody else. Interest deductibility allows landlords to pay less tax, including mortgage payments, as a business expense. Labor changed this in 2021 with the aim of slowing demand for investment properties, helping level the playing field in favour of first-home buyers. Inland Revenue's analysis of Labor policy when it was first proposed in 2021 advised against bringing in the changes, saying it was unlikely to boost overall housing affordability and the potential benefit for first-home buyers was outweighed by the likely increase to rent. ACT's fiscal plan had estimated an immediate reversal would cost the government $2.65 billion over 4 years, with leader David Seymour saying it would save the average the average new investor $6,400 in tax, which, if passed on to tenants, would mean $123 per week in rent. However, there's no guarantee that reversing the policy will see rent fall. National leader Chris Luxon, who owns 7 homes, he refused to say he'll be reducing rent on his own properties during the election campaign, only that the policy would limit the increase. We're going to put downward pressure on rent, he told Q&A in September. When RNZ approached National about the CTU's calculations, the party provided a brief statement. The government stands by the commitments made in its coalition agreements. The details of how these commitments will be implemented, including their costs, will be considered by Cabinet and are more likely to be budget sensitive until details are finalised and made public. Property Investors Federation President Sue Harrison said the tax deductibility changes would bring relief to the housing market. It's like any business. You have to pay your expenses and they've gone escalating high. So how do you manage that? You just have to hang on and keep digging into your pocket or wherever you can to stave off the bank and the inland revenue, and that's what people are doing. That's what the owner of many of these properties are doing. Harrison said it would stop the sell down of rental properties, helping the supply. I find it interesting though, because this once again opens up the market for more investment properties and more investors to buy into property, which makes it significantly harder for the younger generation trying to buy their first home. I mean, if you're having a lot of the market snapped up by investors, you're really going to struggle to find a lower cost property that you can make work as your first home. And I think that a lot of my generation, or our generation, this program is geared towards young listeners, is going to struggle to find property to move into and to live. And buying your first home is a huge step, but I mean, at this point in time, it's not looking realistic for young people to be able to do so. I mean, I know that my sister, she is just fresh out of uni, and by the time her dad was 18, he had his own house. She's 21, and she knows perfectly well that there's no way she's going to be able to get a house in the next probably not even 10 years. And, you know, it sucks. And, I mean, it is what it is, but it doesn't make it any easier. Anyway, moving on. This is Camryn Charles Over the Country Club by Lana Del Rey.
I'm on the run with you, my sweet love, there's nothing wrong. Contemplating God under the chemtrails over the country club. Wearing our jewels in the swimming pool, me and my sister just playing it cool under the chemtrails over the country club. Take out your turquoise and all of your jewels. Go to the market, the kids' swimming pools. Baby, what's your sign? My moon's in Leo, my Cancer is Sun. You won't play, you're no fun. Well, I don't care what they think. Drag racing my little red sports car. I'm not unhinged or unhappy, I'm just wild. I'm on the run with you, my sweet love, there's nothing wrong. Contemplating God under the chemtrails over the country club. Wearing our jewels in the swimming pool, me and my sister just playing it cool under the chemtrails over the country club. Meet you for coffee at the elementary schools. We laugh about nothing as the summer gets cool. It's beautiful, how this deep normality settles down over me. I'm not bored or unhappy, I'm still so strange and wild. I'm in the wind, I'm in the water. Nobody's son, nobody's daughter. Watching the chemtrails over the country club. Suburbia, the Brentwood market. What to do next? Baby, what of it? White picket chemtrails over the country club. My love, my love. Washing my hair, doing the laundry, late night TV. I watch you hunting like when we were kids under chemtrails and country clubs. It's never too late, baby, so don't give up. It's never too late, baby, so don't give up. Under the chemtrails over the country club. Yeah, under your plunge in December and I'm plunging yeah, my Cancer is sun and my Leo is moon. My Cancer is sun and my Leo is moon. Bide my time, wearing a warning sign. Wait till the world is mine. Visions I vandalize, cold in my kingdom size. Fell for these ocean eyes. You should see me in a crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to help. Watch me make them bow one by one by one, one by one by. You should see me in a crowd. Your silence is my favorite sound. Watch me make them bow one by one by one, one by one by one. Count my cards, watch them fall. Blood on a marble wall. I like the way they all scream. Tell me which one is worse, living or dying first. Sleeping inside a hearse. I don't dream. You say, come over, baby. I think you're pretty. I'm okay, I'm not your baby. If you think I'm pretty, you should see me in the crowd. I'm gonna run, there's nothing to help. Watch me make them bow one by one by one, one by one by. You should see me in a crowd. Your silence is my favorite sound. favorite sounds. Watch me make them blow one by one by one, one by one.
Kia ora koutou, we are back, and yeah, just getting through it, chilling, doing our thing. Anyway, more tea. We love some tea. I'm living for it. Now, RNZ's kind of, at the moment, my go-to. I do put some NZ Herald in there, and I put some stuff in there, but at the moment, RNZ's the only one that's loading for me today. Maybe the rest of them don't like me. That could be true. Now, anyway, Christopher Luxon's lack of control over Winston Peters does not bode well for future. Quote, unquote, Hipkins. And this was posted at 1 p.m. today. Chris Hipkins has used his first press conference as opposition leader to accuse Prime Minister Christopher Luxon of having lost control of his government. Speaking at Parliament, Hipkins said Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters' accusations about media bribery this week were just wrong, and he urged Luxon to take action. On Monday, not long after being sworn in as Deputy Prime Minister, Peters claimed RNZ and TVNZ were not independent, before saying you can't defend $55 million of bribery. The remark was a reference to the Public Interest Journalism Fund, PIJF, a 3-year, $55 million contestable fund for journalists initially established to shore up public interest media during the COVID-19 pandemic. Luxon was asked about his deputy's comments during a brief photo op at the start of a ceremonial first cabinet meeting yesterday. Luxon said he had not seen the comments and then ignored a follow-up question. Later, as reporters prepared to leave, Peters interjected, "Before you go, can you possibly tell the public what you had to sign up to get the money? Before you ask one more question, tell the public what you signed up to get the money. It's called transparency, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you." Asked whether that was appropriate, Luxon again ignored the question. Hipkins said Luxon needed to show some leadership. Christopher Luxon needs to show that he is actually the Prime Minister and stamp down on that very quickly. It is wrong for Winston Peters to be stepping outside the Cabinet Manual at the very meeting where they were supposed to be confirming the Cabinet Manual. It's also wrong for him to be questioning and potentially directing Television New Zealand and Radio New Zealand when they have legislative editorial independence. I think that the Prime Minister needs to show some leadership and make it clear to Winston Peters that that is unacceptable and make sure it stops. When asked how he would respond to Peters' behaviour if he were the Prime Minister, Hipkins replied, "I wouldn't have got myself into the situation in the first place. I made it very clear before the election that I did not think Winston Peters was fit for government. I don't think he," by he means Luxon, "should simply say, 'Oh, I haven't seen the comments, I'm not going to comment on it.' That is his job. He is the Prime Minister. The comments that his ministers make are his responsibility." Hipkins suggested Luxon was not in control of his government. Look, I'm not entirely clear that Christopher Luxon is really in control of what's going on within the government. They're only a couple of days in, and it does not bode well for future. "We are a global embarrassment," says Labour's health spokesperson. Speaking at the same press conference, Labour's health spokesperson, Aisha Viral, described a coalition government's plans to repeal smoke-free laws as absolutely disgusting. The coalition agreements between National, New Zealand First and ACT will repeal laws which would restrict the number of retailers, reduce nicotine levels, and ban anyone born after January 2009 from ever buying tobacco. We've known for decades that smoking is incredibly harmful for health, and you've seen that reflected in widespread condemnation of the smoke-free changes proposed by this government. Viral said the move would damage New Zealand's international reputation. Internationally, we're seeing headlines reflect the fact that we are a global embarrassment for rolling back these laws. This would be the first time anti-smoking legislation would be repealed, Viral said. That is why health officials, health leaders around the country have been so shocked. They did not expect National to go and do something like this, something that has been an area of bipartisan consensus for so long. Hipkins will reveal his shadow cabinet tomorrow, but has confirmed Grant Robertson will stay on as Labour's finance spokesperson and Viral will keep the health portfolio. Hipkins confirmed every MP in his caucus will be assigned a portfolio. So not looking great coming from the opposition. They're clearly not happy with the current government, which can you blame them? They're the opposition. That's literally the purpose of them, but vibes. Yeah, it's certainly interesting what's going on at the moment. And as I said, it's a lot of tea. It is a lot of tea. And, just it's a bit of gossip. I love a bit of gossip. It really does it for me, Anyway, another article, and I will switch over after this one to NZ Herald. And this is, once again, from RNZ, challenging few years for some. Māori weigh in on the new government. And this was posted at 9:47am today. People are uploading these things at weird times. Sorry, just a side note. As the dust of the new coalition government settles, Māori experts are looking ahead to what the next parliamentary term will bring. Victoria University Associate Professor in Politics, Lara Greaves, said it will be the most right-wing government since MMP was introduced in the 90s. It's going to be a challenging few years for some Māori who, under the past government, perhaps felt more listened to. Tertiary legislation, politics of resentment. National ACT and New Zealand First have been committed to endorsing a treaty principles bill up until the select committee's process. However, uncertainty looms over its further progression and the possibility of a referendum. The proposed legislation, should it pass, pledges a comprehensive examination of all laws, excluding full and final treaty settlement acts, with the objective of eliminating current mentions of the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi from legislation. Māori journalist and commentator, oh whoa, that's interesting there, Mihinga Rangi Forbes, okay, said any act reviewing Te Tiriti should be examined carefully. New Zealand is only starting to reach a point where the wrongdoings of colonisation are being righted, she said. What's being proposed, and I think puts Māori back into the dark ages of where we've really just begun to climb out of. I'm not convinced there won't be a referendum at the end of the select committee process. Forbes said debate around the bill was likely to be dominated by the politics of resentment. This process will be particularly hard on Māori as the debate is rolled out in public and the media, through the opinion pieces and through think tanks, organisations with lots to lose if our country actually honours Te Tiriti. We'll be seeing the whipping up of the politics of resentment as we do every Waitangi Day and on every other discussion around power sharing. ACT's policy of a treaty referendum garnered some controversy during the campaign with accusations of race baiting aimed at the party's leader, David Seymour. Greaves said in the past public submissions to the select committee have tended to favour a more right-wing perspective, and she said a referenda tend to be the same. If you take a look around the world, for Indigenous people referenda generally never work out very well. I think there's quite a body of literature on referenda now that shows it's not a good time. If you look at the Chilean constitutional referendum on the Voice to Parliament referendum in Australia, you see a lot of disinformation and misinformation targeting Indigenous groups and ultimately not a positive experience for anyone. Greaves said there would still be a lot of movement around the treaty principles, even without a referendum. Ministerial positions. On Monday morning, Christopher Luxon was officially sworn in as New Zealand's 42nd Prime Minister by Governor-General Dame Cindy Kiro. Dame Cindy also appointed the rest of the Executive Council, which includes 20 Cabinet Ministers, 8 Ministers outside of Cabinet, and 2 parliamentary undersecretaries. Oh my goodness. Of the new Ministers, 8 have whakapapa Māori, Nationals Tama Potaka and Shane Reti, ACT's David Seymour, Karen Chua, Nicole McKee, and NZ First Winston Peters, Shane Jones, and Casey Costello. Greaves said there was an interesting mixture of Māori in Cabinet, with many taking on roles that are not necessarily associated with just Māori issues, but she said there was reasonable Māori representation in Cabinet. There's always that classic Professor Mason jury quote, "There's many diverse ways to be Māori," and I guess we're going to see the conservative right-wing Māori take its seat at the table this time around, and we'll see if that's something that the voters want. Forbes said it was interesting to note which portfolios were sitting outside of Cabinet, including Minister of Children, who oversees Oranga Tamariki, and the Minister of Climate Change. These are our tamariki, our most vulnerable tamariki in Aotearoa, and it's interesting they've decided that the portfolio will sit outside of Cabinet. Māori Health. All 3 parties in the coalition have agreed Te Aka Whai Ora, the Māori Health Authority, will be axed. Forbes said it would be interesting to see what they plan to replace it with. I don't think the inequity is going to go away after that. Māori will still be dying 7.5 years before their Pākehā brothers and sisters. I think it's fair for all New Zealanders to be able to say, what is the plan, how are you going to deliver services to Māori that begin to address some of those inequities, Forbes said. Prior to the election, the National Party said it will replace it with a Māori Health Directorate, which would sit within the Ministry of Health, but no commitment has been made since. So clearly we're seeing a lot of interesting stuff going down there. Anyway, moving on. This is Edge of 17 by Stevie Nicks.
Just like the one-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just like the one-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing. Ooh, baby, ooh, say ooh. And the days go by like a strand in the wind, in the web that is long. I begin again. Said to my friend, everything stops, nothing else matters. He was no more than a baby then. Well, he
Anyway, we are back, and I'm going to have a look at this article from NZ Herald. Te Pāti Māori co-leader, hang on, and it's titled New Government Wants to Erase Māori, Māori Party co-leader Rawiri Waititi, and this is posted on the 28th of November. Te Pāti Māori co-leader Rawiri Waititi claims the government wants to remove every vestige of Māori people, language and culture within its current policies. Under a coalition agreement, National Act and NZ First have ordered government agencies to provide services based on need, not race. It also wants every agency that isn't specifically related to Māori to use its English name and to communicate in English. This government wants to remove all trace of us as Māori, Waititi told Te Ao News. Our language, our places, tangata whenua, our efforts to improve Māori health and include cultural considerations within Oranga Tamariki. It also wants to wipe out what our ancestors envisaged through the Treaty of Waitangi. Waititi likened the policies to being consumed by an evil monster. He taniwha ki kino, kei te, kai I a tato. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of practice. I haven't done my Duolingo. Not Duolingo, I can't remember the name of it. My course. Sorry. Prime Minister Chris Luxon said while he encouraged people to use more te reo Māori, people need to know how to navigate their government. We need every New Zealander to know what those agencies are and what they provide. Māori Development and Crown Māori Relations Minister Tama Pōtaka hinted that while he might not personally agree with the edict, he was still conscious of where his allegiance lies. I'll be voicing my own individual views, but we'll come out collectively as a coalition. Well, if you want everyone to be able to navigate government, you do also have to consider that te reo Māori is still a national language of Aotearoa New Zealand, regardless of what you might believe. It's still a national language. So, if you want everyone to be able to have both. That's an idea. Because guess what? It was still both previously before you decided to strip them of, any kind of Māori title. Slay. Love that. Love that. Slay. As we can tell, I am just living my best life. Okay. And now this will probably be the last article for today. I have to head off, shortly. Unfortunately for me. Anyway, coalition agreement. The initial financial hit students are taking to accommodate Winston Peters, and this is the 25th of November. Thousands of students are planning to start university in 2025 will have to fund their first year of study following a coalition change to the fees-free scheme after New Zealand First leader Winston Peters dug his heels in. Since 2018, eligible students have been able to apply to have the fees-free of the first year of their tertiary studies funded by government. However, following the three-way coalition negotiations between National Act and NZ First, which culminated yesterday, that policy will change. The fees-free policy was the one that Peters and NZ First had campaigned on in the lead-up to the general election. National caved on its plan to foreign tax buyers after NZ First objected, but incoming Prime Minister Christopher Luxon told the Herald earlier other measures in the coalition agreements they had resulted in some other savings. We are very confident that we can deliver tax relief as we planned. These measures included moving the fees-free year for tertiary education from first to third year. The number of students who took shorter courses or dropped out by the third year meant fewer students would qualify for it, freeing up some money. No changes would be made before 2025. It is likely to first affect students starting their final year of high school next year. The fees-free initiative was a cornerstone of Labour's 2017 election campaign and introduced under the Ardern government in January 2018. It was meant to be expanded to cover the first 3 years, but this was suspended in 2020 largely due to the impact of COVID-19 and the need to reprioritise spending. The fund is available to first-time tertiary students and covers 1 year of study or 2 years of work-based training up to $12,000. In the first year of the policy, students have saved $194.2 million in fees. Since then, thousands of students have enrolled at university under the policy. In 2022, there were up to 42,760 students enrolled at tertiary institutions or people placed in industry training under the program. The scheme's original intentions were to help people overcome economic barriers to higher education while also growing the numbers of those enrolled. However, Herald reporting in January showed the proportion of students from wealthier backgrounds taking up the policy continued to grow. 40 days after the election, National Act and NZ First announced a coalition deal that had been struck. Winston Peters, David Seymour will be co-deputy prime ministers, doing half-term each. Peters will be Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Seymour will be Minister for Regulation. And this is coming from someone who is going to university next year, and also from a person that is also friends with people that are not going to university but are still doing tertiary education in the form of apprenticeships or work-based training, or, and if you're only getting your tertiary education like fees free in your third year, that is not exactly fair on those that are doing work-based training or those that are doing apprenticeships and those that are doing, your kind of graduate certificates and diplomas, which a lot of people do just kind of boost it up, and they are covered under that first year fees free, particularly diplomas and such. It does seem, in my opinion, slightly unfair that you have to do a bachelor's degree to even so much as qualify for fees free. I mean, yes, I understand that people drop out and such, but the people that are doing apprenticeships or work-based training, they are not operating at a 3-year kind of course level. They're not doing a bachelor degree, but they're still the people that are the cornerstone of the economy. Like, we need them for those basic sorts of things. We need our plumbers, our electricians. We need people that are doing construction. We need people that are doing their basic diplomas. We need funeral directors who need a 1-year diploma in order to, be able to be a qualified funeral director. And it is interesting to see, in my opinion, that those people, that the people that are not doing bachelor's degree are not cared for under this fees-free scheme, and that seems slightly unfair. Because it's not, tertiary education is not just bachelor's degrees, it covers all tertiary education, and that can just be a 1-year diploma. It doesn't have to be a bachelor's degree. And so it seems a little unfeeling and a little uncaring that you kind of discard a huge majority, or a huge group of people that aren't necessarily doing this 3-year course. They're only doing 1 or 2 years instead. But what can I say? What can I say? Not my problem, not my business. Anyway, so we are going to listen to... Ooh, that is the wrong song. We are going to listen to The Roads by Jonah Kagan, and then we're going to say goodbye. Kia ora.
I got a message from a friend. Said you've been quiet since the day you let her in, and we'd all love to know just where you went. 'Cause honey, you don't look the same. I barely recognize you with that look all on your face. My God, those words are burned into my brain. You showed me I should stop, and I ignored it. Oh, I swore to God you'd be important. On my feet, I ran right through my shoes. These roads are changing me, but they all lead back to you. 'Cause you're still in my skin. I've done all I can do, but I chose to let you in. Now the roads lead back to you. So when they ask me where I've been, I'll plug the drain and calmly say I never left, and quietly wish we had never met. Cause that slow pain don't like to wait. No, it comes quick and then it never fades away. And I lost part of me that day. You showed me I should stop and I ignored it. Oh, I swore to God you'd be important. There's blisters on my feet, I ran right through my shoes. These roads are changing me, but they all lead back to you. 'Cause you're still in my skin. I've done all I can do, but I chose to let you in. Now the roads lead back to you.
Kia ora koutou, that was The Roads by Jonah Kagan, and yeah, thank you for listening this week. It's been a great one. Lots of tea to spill, which I'm always here for, but we're getting there. We're getting back into it. Unfortunately, it's coming towards the end of the year, but I mean, everyone likes Christmas. I'm not a big fan, but hey, if you're into Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever's coming up, I don't know. We'll see. And I'll see you next week on Political Tea. Kia ora koutou and ka kite anō.